Hello. Uh, I see a lot of familiar faces here, but for you that I haven't met before, my name is Johan Blücher, and I'm working as a product manager for Sanhua Europe. And today, my subject is environmentally cautious of brazed plate heat exchangers. But first, let me tell you a little bit about Sanhua. Sanhua Holding is a global company with 4 different divisions. You have the automotive division, which working with climate control systems for the automotive industry, especially electrical cars, and so on. We have microchannels. I think you are well known about the microchannels of Sanhua, maybe. We also have one division of home appliance. And then we have the HVACR components. It's here where I belong, and also the brazed plate heat exchanger of Sanhua belong. Sanhua, today, or actually this year, we celebrate 40 years anniversary. So we have been in the business for 40 years approximately. We are totally 34,000 people globally. And among these people, we have 4,000 people within the R&D. And these 4,000 people are divided in 8 global R&D centers. These people created one patent every 12 hours. So it's a very intensive research and development of Sanhua. And actually, it's already here, the conscious of environmentally of the heat exchangers is starting, actually. So already from beginning, when you start to design a heat exchanger, you look into the material. What kind of material should we use? In the future, there will be a lot of new materials, maybe, but today we are bound to use the stainless steel heat exchangers, mostly because that is the most efficient way to produce, and also the application where you have the stainless steel heat exchanger, there you need stainless steel to cover corrosion and this type of rough conditions. However, you have also to be conscious or think about the resources of the earth. I mean, it's not endless. The resources, you need to take care of that for the future generations as well. So what do you do then actually to make the heat exchanger even more efficient? One way is to use less material in the heat exchanger. You make maybe the plate thickness of the heat exchanger thinner. You're looking into making connections of lighter. And the whole heat exchanger, you look into make the performance of the heat exchanger better and better, so you can get out more kilowatt per kilogram in a heat exchanger. And you also look into production methods. What kind of production methods should we use to be environmentally conscious? At Sanhua, we use a lot of automatization of the production lines, actually, in a very high degree. Going into the environment footprint, actually in our production of a brazed plate heat exchanger, 20% of the energy that we are using is from fossil-free energy. And also at our biggest industrial park, we have done heavy investments for solar panel and also storage, energy storage system. So in this park, 34% of the used energy is from this system with solar panel and storage. However, as I said, what we can do more is within the performance. And when you design a heat exchanger, today there are many good tools, and you use the CFD simulations a lot, actually. Today, actually, this is a standard tool within the R&D. With this tool, you can design different type of plate pattern, and you can see how this plate pattern will function. For example, one case where we use it a lot is for anti-freezing design, because you don't want to have freezing inside the brazed plate heat exchanger. Then you will destroy it. And today, actually, the heat pump manufacturers would like to go tighter and tighter on the temperatures. And therefore, it's a must to be sure that you have an heat exchanger that will not freeze. You also use the CFD to decrease the pressure drop. You can, with the tool, you can see what kind of velocity you have over the plate. You also then can calculate the pressure drops over the plate, especially on the water side of the heat exchanger, where you would like to have as low pressure drop as possible to be able to use less energy to the pump in the system, and thereby creating a better COP of the heat pump. The very basic of a heat exchanger is the plate pattern. And the plate pattern, it started with brazed heat exchanger, and then most of the heat exchanger was symmetrical, a symmetrical pattern. But even today, actually, symmetrical pattern could be good in some applications. However, within the refrigeration, we have then gone further to asymmetric plate pattern. Asymmetric plate pattern means that you have tighter channels on the refrigerant side, and then you have also larger channels on the water side, just to decrease the pressure drop on the water side, and then also decrease the charge of a refrigerant on the refrigerant side. Actually, now we also go further in the asymmetric. So we have something that we call multi-asymmetric. This means that you not only have the asymmetry between the water channel and the refrigerant channel, you also have an asymmetric over the plate. So in the bottom of the plate, maybe you have another pattern, and in the middle plate, you have another pattern, and you could have even third. You can divide the pattern over the plate in many different type of asymmetric. And actually, our R&D is working even further. This is not the stop. Actually, they work further, and I think within soon we will have a new type of plate pattern. And all this is due to decrease the weight, also increase the performance of the heat exchangers. And by that, we decrease the usage of material also. As I mentioned, more kilowatt for the kilograms. At Sanhua, we work with different key technologies, I would say. One, as I mentioned before, is freezing protection. because you don't want to have it freezing inside the heat exchanger. So you design the plate pattern to be optimized for avoiding freezing. You also have these multi-asymmetric plates, as I mentioned, two-dimension, or actually it's two-dimension asymmetric between the water channel and the refrigerant channel, and also all over the plate. We also work with the flexible and efficient distribution system. Here, our winning is to include the distribution system into the plate. So we don't use any extra material or any extra weight, adding any extra weight on the heat exchanger. Also, the heat exchanger needs to be designed for pressure and temperature fatigue, for example, because you need to have a heat exchanger with high durability. And heat exchanger, actually, if it's designed correctly and it's mounted correctly into a heat pump with all kinds of restrictions, I would say, then a heat exchanger could last for 50, 100 years. Actually, there is no limit how long the heat exchanger can work if you protect it well, actually. All this, actually, I would like to present the current Sanhua BPG family for the R290. We have a range from a couple of kilowatt heat exchanger up to 200 kilowatt, already designed for R290. And among this range, I would like to pick out S65. That is our latest heat exchanger, where we use all these features that I have mentioned, with the efficient distribution system, multi-asymmetry, and using the material as good as possible. Thinner material of the plate, channel plates, for example. And this design have actually resulted in 20% better thermal performance on already good heat exchangers, actually. And we have been able to decrease the charge on the refrigerant side with 37%. And in total, we also decrease the weight by 25%. So this is a good step in the right direction of becoming more and more environmentally friendly. And we, as our customers, would like to become an CO2 neutral supplier, actually. And with the thermal performance, actually, with plus 20%, what happened then is that you use less number of plate of the heat exchanger for your application. As I mentioned, this is specially designed, the S65 is specially designed for R290 application in the range of heat pumps and chillers between 10 and 90 kilowatt. This is the first heat exchanger with these features, but we will continue our work on this type of features in new heat exchangers as well. So step by step, we got coming further and further on to be a carbon dioxide or carbon neutral supplier, I would say. This heat exchanger you will find in our booth, so please come and visit. And in our booth, you will also find the full range of refrigerant components for R290 applications. Actually, that was what I was thinking of covering today. And I think there is time for questions as well. If anyone have questions, I'm happy to answer your questions here. No? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much then.